Here with head coach Anna Nimz as it is tournament time. Postseason tournament, Southland Conference tournament starts this week, and we're certainly going to get into that and what could be a very fun week down in Lake Charles. But first, Coach, we kind of talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, and actually before we even get into that, Vietnam, Player of the Year, and of course Naya's second team as well. How proud are you of them and getting that honor and all that sort of stuff?
I mean, it's remarkable. It's not lost on any of us how special V is, but sometimes the voting doesn't go the way it should. I think last year was proof in the pudding there statistically. But so I was so excited to see her earn that. She absolutely deserved it. She sat at number one for the course of 30 games. I mean, but wow, but what's really exciting, and I've told her, and I quietly tell her, she's a phenomenal basketball player, but she's an even better human. And how she receives all of these awards is with humility, and she's humble, and she's thankful to her teammates, she's thankful to her family and her coaches, and but I'm really, really proud. It's been 20 plus years since NSU's had a Player of the Year, and there's none better than Vietama.
And we talked a lot about her on Tuesday when we played New Orleans, rightfully so, 1,000 points. But one of the things we didn't get a lot of time to spend on is just how well, of course, she's a big part of it, but how well this team is playing right now at a just absolutely perfect time. Won 4 straight games, a big road win against RGV, coming in with some confidence, some momentum, and really all the things you want as you head into a conference tournament.
Yeah, the goal is, I think for every single coach, as you inch closer and closer to 40 minutes as you get towards the end of the year. We're not there yet, but they're absolutely playing, really good basketball. We have a lot of areas in which we still got to get better at to be able to make it through this tournament. But they're excited. They're ready. They're excited. We've had a couple days to kind of give our legs a rest, but mentally still be able to get after it. But they're excited, and I think they really believe. I think they believe and know that they're a special group. I think they believe and know that they could go make some noise, and I think they believe and know that we have, the team to go do something.
That belief, do you feel like that is the sort of the thing that has been the biggest, catalyst for this run that we've started?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think we've had just a couple players with some up and down games that it takes maturity to play through those games. And I think we just maybe got a little quiet. I don't think it was a lack of belief. It's just maybe some overall frustration with some of the ups and downs that happen, but that's part of basketball. And that's no different than the game is a game of runs. Sometimes you just don't have a perfect night, and you have to be able to regroup and move on to the next game without overthinking it or without even bringing that last game into the next game. But also I said it very, very early in the season, we have a brand new team. We have so many new faces. It's probably going to take us, getting to conference to finally start to gel. I think that I was wrong. I think we gelled relatively soon, actually, with the win against Wichita State in the American League. But I think the biggest difference is maybe, yes, belief, but it's also they're gelled. They know where each other are going to be. They've played now enough basketball that I think in the last 6-7 games, oh boy, the girls will be proud, that they've figured out how to play together collectively. And I think, our bench production has gone up, our bench minutes have gone up, and we've tried to impress upon that. And probably the last 5 games, even more, than the deeper we can be moving into the tournament, the better off we're going to be. It's being done right now. South Alabama women's basketball is just game, and getting better every game. So it's definitely possible, but we didn't earn the right to earn a bye this season. We were really fighting for that, but fell short. So we just have to have the understanding that it's going to be a back-to-back game situation, and we got to be ready. And so we had to be deeper. But so maybe a little bit of belief, but also just the fact that they finally have played enough basketball together that they're starting to really gel.
And I'm glad you mentioned and brought the bench production as well, because it feels like obviously that starting group has started every game this year, and they kind of know that. But the way that the bench players have really, it seems like they've really come into their role on what they do in this program, what they can do for the team during practice, obviously, but also on game days. And that's like you say, going to be huge in a situation where you may be playing multiple days in a row.
Yeah, and we've got to find minutes. We've got to find minutes here and there before a timeout, after a timeout, to get some of the starters some rest. But also we find ourselves into foul trouble quite often, and sometimes more than one of them at the same time. And so it's being able to plug in a kid and not have that drop off. But I think they've done a really nice job. I think I agree to your point of maybe owning their role a little bit more. Knowing that maybe the first thing we should do is not just jack up a shot, but if you defend and rebound, you're going to get minutes. And then you warm up and you get ready for the game, and then maybe you let that thing fly. Or, unless it's just one of those, chip shots we're always going to want. But we don't need to come in and take the first shot we see. And I think they've done a really nice job. And I think each of them brings something very different. And a couple of them we can kind of put them in for Naya or T or Carla or V, and then Clarence doesn't find herself off the court very often, but I think our fives have done, and we have a couple, I think our fives have done a nice job of being able to fill minutes based on, the style of post player we're playing against. And I feel like a credit to our staff is we kind of have a post player to fit every style, but Clarence kind of fits all the styles, but the deeper we can be, the deeper we can go, I guess is a good way of looking at it.
Good way to sum it up. Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the tournament. And we talked about the confidence and the belief that this team has going in. I think it maybe gets a little bit higher because we're like the only team that's won at that place other than McNeese this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to ruin their perfect season. It's been fun. It's been fun to hold on to. Lost to them by 5 here. So it's we're anxious to get back to that game. We want to get back to that matchup. We want to play them on Wednesday. And we do have confidence in that building. And so going into it, we feel good in that building. We shoot well on those rims. I think the girls shot really well that night in particular at the beginning of the season. But I think I believe still that Commerce hasn't seen our best, right? They've seen our worst at their place. And I think we had a really good matchup between the two teams here. But when you really go back and watch film, we're still off base on a handful of things, of which we're going to continue to watch and get better. But if we can put a full game together, I think that we're a lot to handle. Obviously, whether Tiana Ellison is playing or not playing, makes a big difference for them. But I would absolutely assume she's going to play against us. But they're excited. It wouldn't matter who we're playing on Monday. The girls are excited and ready to go.
Yeah, and anytime you're matching up, and it'll be that this way every game that we do play. It's the third time you've seen a team, and it's always that. Do you overcoach it? Do you overthink it? Or do you change this from that? And you have 2 games worth of things to prepare for. But obviously, it's the most recent stuff that we've seen for us that you feel like is going to carry us through and bring us to the success that we know we can have.
Yeah, we just have to keep building. I think we won maybe the last 6 of 7, 5 of 6, something of that nature. And it's just continuing to learn from our losses. And that was a big focal point this week. Learn from our losses. They were there for a reason. As long as we've learned from them, then we can grow. But at the end of the day, we've split with each team, for the most part. And so, if we play Commerce, obviously we've split with them. So we should have some confidence. We know what to correct. And then we have some confidence coming off that win. And then same thing, it's just based on who you play. I feel good. There's only a couple teams that we didn't split with in conference. So we'd be hungry to get them. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, the old saying, but but on the flip side, we've split with majority of people, and that's where you want to see yourself. And when you look at a season, you're always trying to sweep or split or what have you with a certain amount of them to position yourself. And I think the girls did that.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you on Tuesday and beyond.
Thank you. Welcome.